Hey everyone, Mr. Lentz coming to you again through the power of the internet. In our last video, we talked about some basics that you need for an MLA citation, and I told you all that depending on your source, your citations may vary slightly. Okay, we looked at a book, we looked at a web page, but I told you that there's a resource that you all can use to just basically look up what kind of source you have, and then it will teach you how to um, actually cite it. So whether you're citing a photograph or a personal interview, a YouTube clip, or maybe even a podcast, this resource I'm about to show you all will help you will guide you through making a citation for that source. So uh, I'm just going to go to Google and I'm going to type in Purdue OWL, Purdue like the university, Purdue OWL, and I'm going to do MLA because that's what we're citing. And you'll see right here, this is exactly where you want to go, the MLA formatting and style guide for Purdue OWL. Okay, so the basic setup for Purdue OWL, if you scroll down on this home page here, it kind of gives you the basics that we went over in our previous video, where it talks about the basics of a source. Okay, and it kind of breaks it down, like what are examples of authors, what's an example of like a title, so on and so forth. Okay, but what I want to show you is over here. Okay, this section especially is what you really want to use. So under the formatting and style guide, it will kind of show you how to use quotations and footnotes. We're not going to use footnotes until it's time for competition, so there'll be a video on that in the future. And it'll give you like the basic format for a works cited page. But over here, underneath basic format for works cited pages, it gives you clues on how to cite different things. So if we're citing books, we can go here to this web page, and it will show you how to cite all kinds of books. It'll give you the basic format for a book citation. It'll give you the format for a book with more than one author. It'll tell you what to do if you have multiple books by the same author. It will tell you what you do with a book that has no author, uh, with a translated book, so on and so forth. Right there's all kind of different examples, and the citations will change slightly. Um, and then if you go to periodicals, and a periodical is a piece of publication that is published periodically, right? So that could be anything like a newspaper, which is printed daily, to a magazine, which is done monthly, or an academic journal, which sometimes is only done once a year. So it'll tell you how to cite periodicals on this page. So how to cite a magazine, how to cite a newspaper, a movie review, an editorial letter, or a letter to an editor, all these kind of things. So anything that's published periodically. And then this web page, the electronic source, is going to be something that a lot of you are going to use. How do you cite like a website, or how do you cite a specific web page? How do you cite an ebook? How do you cite an image? The image could be a painting, a sculpture, or a photograph. How do you cite a web magazine article? How do you website a scholarly journal? All these things, an email. Some of you might be doing interviews through an email this year, especially since you can't meet people face to face. It'll even show you how to cite a tweet in a YouTube video. Okay, so this is definitely going to be a helpful one. And again, the way you get there is you Google Purdue OWL MLA, and it'll be underneath the MLA formatting and style guide in the electronic sources webpage. And then finally, they've kind of got like a miscellaneous category, which is other common sources. And like if you had like a personal interview, it'll show you how to cite that. Or if you have a speech by someone, it'll show you how to do that. Painting, sculpture, or photograph that you see in person, a song or an album title, movies, TV shows. It'll even show you how to cite Netflix and Hulu, podcasts. So all of the, even a PDF, it'll show you how to do. Okay, so This is an excellent source to use for citing. And guys, I'll be honest, like as an English teacher, I don't memorize like every single necessary element for every single kind of source. What I do is I use my resources and I go to Purdue OWL. This is something I've been using since college. Every time I had to sit down and write a research paper, whether it was for one of my education classes or for one of my history classes, I would go to Purdue OWL when I was working on my works cited page because it was super helpful. So I will leave the link to the MLA formatting and style guide in the description of this video for all of you to access. And that's about it. So if you feel free to email me or Mr. Morrell or Miss McKeever or Miss Bell if you have any questions, and feel free to review this video again if I went too quickly for you. Okay, I'll see you in the next one.